Welcome back to the Locked In channel. We haven't seen you guys, it seems like, for so long. We've recorded this video and then it messed up, and yeah, everything just seems to be, you know, all over the place at the moment. And we recorded the Brit Awards for you, and the pre-Brit Awards, and the event that we had, and all of that footage was lost in translation. So I apologize, we apologize, but we're back and with a video that has been highly requested. And I'll just say to you, as you watch this video, at the end there's going to be a very special giveaway, so watch it all the way to the end to get that giveaway. Don't skip it, watch it to the end, okay? And right now just subscribe there, that thing there, that. Okay, so yeah, this is our confirmation fasting video on how we kind of got together and what kind of happened. I'm gonna let Karl go first so I don't butt in when he says his.
Because you got a habit of doing that, right? Sorry. So basically, me and Cassie were together for, it was a little while, right? How long was it until?
Can't remember.
But we were together for a little while. It was established that we were a thing, you know, and I was taking her very serious. So when you take, as a man of God, if you take a woman very serious, you gotta bring her before God. So I did that. But I was getting mixed signals, you know. Sometimes it was like, yeah, this is what's happening. Other times I was feeling like, oh wow, maybe this is not what should be happening, you know. And for me, everyone has their own way they live their lives. For me, I understand that I am limited, you know. I can't put 15 fingers up, I only got 10, you know, that's a limit, you know. I can't see what's behind me, except if I look through there actually. But literally, yeah, we've all got limits. But ultimately, I understood that I serve a God, there is one that knows tomorrow. You know, he knows how me and her are gonna be tomorrow, whether we can be tomorrow, you know. So I basically said, I'm gonna tap in. So I came back to her, and I think she perceived me back then as a bearer of bad news. But I basically said, in order for me to get this clarity, I feel as if we're gonna have to postpone, put things on hold. You see, I said put things on hold, you know. So we put things on hold, you know. We had a conversation about that, a very interesting conversation. And then I basically went on, I called a fast, you know.
This is his version of the story. Just
yeah, alright, cool. So I called a fast, and for me, fasting is very important for sensitivity, you know. I wanted to distance myself from the noise so I could hear the right sounds, you know. And yeah, so the fast went well. I would say it would be about 2 weeks in where it really started to take shape, and I was getting some profound kind of encounters and revelations concerning us, that we were an item, you know. And the first actually came from a young man that unfortunately is in prison currently for murder. And I know it sounds really odd that such confirmation and such a God encounter can come from such a vessel, but you know, he used Moses, you know. So he used my mate, yeah. And we were literally in my pastor's house, and we were on our way to the corner shop, and as we were leaving, as we were about to close the door, he said, you know, I need to tell you something. And I said, what's that? He said, you know, you need a woman that you can come home to, yeah? And not just come home to, but you want to come home. Because there's some women that makes you want to stay outside, you know? And he said, not only that, but one that can actually bring like that fabric of joy. Because some women can bring pain. And I was like, yeah, he started to speak. This was a bit out of character for him, you know? And he basically said, you know what? Cassandra is of that texture. She is of that fabric, you know? She can do that. She is that. So you know, plug in. And I was like, wow, that's very interesting. The most unlikely. I can't break it down. Maybe, yeah, you got the picture. He's just not that guy to be saying those words. So I knew it came from. Anyway, but yeah, so that was one bit. Then I carried on because one is not enough. I need confirmation, you know. I need it to be without a shadow of a doubt, and I still had that shadow there, you know. It was being casted on me, and yeah, so I carried on fasting, carried on praying, carried on believing, carried on expecting, you know, confirmation to come through. And then I had a dream a few days later, and in this dream, we were in a building that wasn't actually our church building, but everyone from our church was there. And our pastor came to the center. It was kind of done in a way where the stage was in the middle, and there would be like an audience to the right, to the left, and back this way, you know. And yeah, she stood in the middle, and she basically called myself and Cassandra and said, come to the front. Then we came, and we were an item, and everyone was receiving this, and everyone acknowledged this, and it was evident that God was in this. And then she blessed us and said our marriage would be fruitful, and began to prophesy, and it was awesome. And then and then from this dream, listen, from this, I don't know how, you see, the dream realm, we don't know how things go, you know, it's all a mystery, but I was catapulted from this perfection into something that just was not it, you know. It literally catapulted into a dream where I was having sexual intercourse with another woman.
What?
It wasn't Cassandra.
What?
So now in this dream, it's like that dream never happened. It's like, but I was clearly there, you know, because when I did wake up from this dream, the latter dream, I woke up and I contemplated on both situations, and I was like, wow. So how do I know that either of them is the right source? They're both very different, both happened on the same night. I don't know which one, you know. It was just confusing, you know. So again, there I go again. I'm still fasting, I'm still praying, I'm still seeking, I'm still believing, I'm still expecting. No, people can pray and not expect. It's in the expectation. I was there, it was up, I was on that frequency. I said it's coming through, you know. And lo and behold, it got to the last day of the fast, because I was doing a fast for the whole month. I'm getting frustrated. You know, I know it's like one day left. It's you know, it's at the end of the road, you know, and I haven't seen what I'm looking for, or I don't think I've seen what I'm looking for. So I kind of get a bit radical in the morning. I wake up and I'm like, you know what? I want to hear from you, God. Yeah? I have given myself entirely to this process, you know? I've trusted every step of the way, and I know you do not let me down. So don't let me down, you know? I want to hear a word from you, yeah? I am believing that you are going to convert, yeah, the biggest skeptic of our situation, yeah? And you are going to make them a believer in this situation, and they're gonna come and tell me about this in my ear. And that was it. I was ranting. It was a slight rant. I was doing all of this in the morning, yeah. And then as the day went on, we actually had a prayer meeting in the house, and prayer meeting used to be held in the house because back then we didn't really have access to a hall to do that, you know. It was run in our pastor's house. So we've all met up for prayer meeting, and as we're...
I should stop there.
Oh, wow.
Then I do my bit and then we go
Okay,
back.
cool, yeah.
So, he kind of told the story, right? But anyway.
Wow.
So I just remember, okay. Alright, so basically, anyone that knows our old church building, yeah, a beautiful church building that was like really, really small, tiny, literally only like, how many people could fit in there? Probably
70 if that.
Yeah, 70 if that. And everyone that was in a so-called relationship, courting, there was a walk that everyone, when you heard a certain preaching or sermon, would walk on. So obviously we had done it the right way. I had done it the right way. I made sure I spoke to my pastor about it, etc, etc. We got the thumbs up to court, everything. So I remember, like, my pastor would preach and be like, you know, you don't know, you need to pray around the person you're like speaking to, you don't know, you blah 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 blah. Then I'd get a message, I need to talk to you after church. My face is straight. I'd get the message. That would basically mean, so I'd be like, oh, here we go. So we'd take that walk. I'll call it the walk of, I don't even know, wait, not the walk of shame, because it's not shame, the walk of pain, I don't know.
Wow.
But you'd walk along that walk and then you'd see the other courting couples walking also.
Oh, wow.
And it'd be like,
wow.
we all know what's gonna happen. And then he'd take me to like, where it was is where like he lived. He would take me to like a block to tell me that, obviously. And those times he was, have you guys seen that film, Shotgun Preacher? He was still
come to the Lord.
He was still so hood, so you know, he'd take me there and he'd be like, yeah, you know, I don't even know if this is what, you know, so we've got to like fall back, blah blah, and I'd be like, okay. The first time was like, okay, it would like, you know, be a bit painful, like I said, the walk of pain. And then like, come on, this will happen every time we had this sort of preaching. I'm like this is too much.
Not every time.
This is actually quite, no, that sort of preaching, it was every time we had that sort of preaching. So it was like, it was like, oh, come on, like this is getting, don't interrupt me, alright? This is my story.
Alright, cool.
Yeah? And this was getting a bit like, come on, like I was really not, like it was like a bit jarring. And then I remember the last time he said this wasn't a preaching or anything like that. I was wanting to get into a uni, and he had helped me write the personal statement. I had an interview for the uni. I went to the interview, but just before I went into the interview, imagine a big interview, career-breaking, new season sort of feeling, yeah, and you're just going in there excited, like prayerful, and I got a phone call. I think that was the phone call those days. And then literally, the sun's shining, the sun's shining, the sun's new word, the sun's shining, there's birds there above, and I'm walking towards this uni, and it's Ravensbourne, one of the best like unis for media and stuff like that. And he calls me and he's like, hello, I'm like, hi. And he's like, yeah, well, Cass, you know, right now everything's a bit much. I don't know, you're a bit clingy. He used the clingy word, yeah. Who says that? Anyway, you're a bit clingy and blah, blah, blah. Like, the conversation was a bit longer than that. He didn't just go straight in with that. But he was like, yeah, you know, we're gonna just have to be friends. He didn't say we're gonna go on a break, a stop, a mute, a wait, a pray, a this. We're gonna just have to be friends. What? So anyway, I remember I was just like, you know what, alright then, came off the phone. And I remember I just looked up at the sun was shining. And I remember I looked up and I was like, do you know what, God? I place everything in your hands, yeah? Because you are the author and the finisher, the alpha and the omega. You know, today, yesterday and tomorrow. And at the end of the day, if this is not what you want, and you see those times, I remember everyone will be like to me, if it's not Karl, it's someone better.
Is there better?
But let me finish. But in my head, I'm like, Karl is Karl. Like, anyone that knows Karl knows what Karl's like. Like, I'm not saying he's perfect, but in terms of man of God, all that stuff, especially then, you know, as you scale into the relationship, you kind of get to know, brother. Yeah, but I remember in the beginning, it was like, do you know what I mean? He was a man of God. He was, I told you guys before, like next to, I just saw him as like a Jesus. He was like prayerful and powerful and like spoke things into being, it would happen, and just, yeah, just amazing. So I was like, God, if it's gonna be something better, it must be something, look, amazing. So then anyway, basically, so I remember that happened and we didn't really speak, and it was a bit, you know, awkward and stuff like that, but I got through it and I started praying and seeking so much. I think that's the most I've ever, like, I sought God, like literally, like, you know, I didn't really, you know what, guys, you know that place, if you're a believer, that place where you're just sweet, you're just in the sweet, you love nothing more than to be in God's presence. You love God, and you just don't have that, you don't care about a relationship, a partner, or anything. Your relationship with God is what means the most to you. And I remember anyway, he came back, of course, because I am Cassandra, and yeah, he tried to talk to me, and I was a bit like, I don't even know. I'm not sure. Like, I don't know if that's what I want. Yeah, but anyway, so we started talking again, and obviously I realized, yeah, this is what I want. And then it got to the point where we was getting so close, and so like, it was like, all right, guys, you gotta know that this is God's will. It's not just about, how can I say? It's not just about courting, and you've got to know this is the person, because like Karl said, the person that I met in the beginning is not the person I know now. Like, not in a negative way, he's got better, but what if I couldn't go with that? What if, it's like God knows everything. He can see today, tomorrow. At that time, Karl was earning, I don't even think you had the cleaning job then. Yeah, he was earning nothing. At that point, he was earning nothing.
He was getting pocket money.
He was getting, so it's not like I knew this is where it was gonna, like, it wasn't where it is now. So God can see everything. So anyway, my pastor, she sat me down in a room one day. She was like, you guys are just kind of doing your own thing. You doesn't seem like you want any confirmation. You just want to go with it. So, and I'm like, no. If anyone knows me, before my relationship with Karl, when I was in, the world, I wasn't a believer, I literally change boyfriends like the weather. It depends on how I feel. Like, no, he doesn't do this, so I'm gonna get a new one. No, he doesn't. So I had to know that, God, you have to be in this, because the days where he gets on my nerves, I'm not gonna want to do this. So at least if I know that you said yes to this, I can be like, you're getting on my nerves, but God has ordained this. So anyway, I remember I was like, I can't just go with his confirmation. If he just tells me, oh, Cassie, this is what it is, because there'll be times where he'd be like, yeah, this is what it is, and then another day he'd be like, actually, no, this is not what it is. Then the next day he'd be like, yeah, I can't wait. Yeah, it was just too confusing. And I remember I was working at a place called Jezreel at the time in Covent Garden, and I used to get to wear pretty green dresses, and I loved it, and I just loved working there. And I remember there was these 3 girls, and imagine, like, I always say there's no such thing as coincidence or luck or anything like that. So there was these 3 girls, and all 3 of them, one was married, one was engaged, and one was courting, yeah? And I remember they all spoke to me on different occasions, and they were like, Cassandra, because this is the time where I started fasting, yeah? So they were like, Karl said he's gonna fast, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna fast too. So I remember this is the time when we started fasting, and they were just like to me, Cassandra, and don't be anxious. Be anxious about nothing. Like, literally, just give your petition to God and let him work it out. Don't be anxious about it. And then I'd go on another day, and obviously I didn't know they was all married or courting or engaged. It's like when I just speak to them, and all believers, and then the next one would be like to me, do you know what, one thing I'd say to you, this might look like this, or this might look like that, or this may be perfect, or this person may say this, but it's what God says. So just wait on him, and yeah, just the best encouragement. So I just continued to wait on God, and I knew that God was gonna bring me the answer. I just didn't know how. I was like, God, you need to talk to me in a way that only you could talk to me, because it's not enough for people just to say it. Because there was friends, like one of the boys that's going to church would be like, Cassandra, you're just the woman version of Karl. Like, people were having dreams and saw me and him together, and was like, yeah, they saw the aisle, but it just wasn't enough. So we get to, I remember that prayer meeting, I think it was even snowing, and I was late, and it was in our pastor's house that day, and I had to run down the stairs. And the way we stand at our pastor's house is we stand at all different parts of the room. I'm going to say my bit because I say it different. I'm going to carry on with my bit.
What do you mean?
I'm going to carry on with my bit about when we get into the living room.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So then I ran downstairs, and the way it's in a living room at this point, we haven't grown yet to where we are now. So everyone doesn't want to get, like, when you're praying, you have a tendency to spit. It's nasty, but it's true. So we want everyone to face the wall, basically. Like, everyone knows that. Like, you don't want to stand next to certain people. Like, no one wants to stand next to Karl. No, joking. You don't want to stand next to certain people because they're just going to be in your face. So I remember we turned and faced the wall. So I turned and I was just praying, and I was just like, I remember that day I was fed up now. Yeah. It's just like, I think the fast had even finished. So you know, like, you're supposed to get this confirmation at the end. And this is what I'm saying. That, like, you can't rush God. No matter what you think, you can't, like, there's a time and a season, and that is due time. Sometimes God can come earlier than you think. Sometimes he can come late, and sometimes he can come right on the time that you think. But you can't to be like, give God a time restraint. And that's what we did, was that we're giving you a month. And I remember at that month, it didn't come through. And I remember Karl would come to me and be like, yeah, he's got kind of a confirmation, but not 100%. And it kind of annoyed me. So anyway, I remember I was just like to God that day, I was just crying. I was just crying. I was like, God, let your will be done. Like, let your will be done. Let your will be done. Anyway, so as the prayer went on, I was like, you know what? I'm not going to be thinking about this during prayer right now. Just me and Karl, me and Karl, me and Karl. I got to pray and whatever. So I just started to get deep into worship. Deep into worship. Like, I remember we was worshiping. And then, like, people always tell me, oh, okay, you've heard, like, you can hear from God. But in my head, this is the first time I've ever heard from God. In my head, it's like, God's gonna be like, you, Cassandra, this is what I am saying, the great I. But it wasn't like that. It was like, I just felt like a feeling, like, it was just like, right now. And it was my voice, if that makes sense. It was like, it wasn't someone else's voice. It was just like, right now, Karl, Pastor's whispering in Karl's ear right now and telling him that she's made a way, that the path's been made clear, that you guys can be together, that you're going to get engaged, blah, blah, blah. So I'm there and I'm like, like, it's so random. I'm like, really? Like, but it's not even like I didn't believe it. I did. I was just like, okay.
Cool. So, you know, I was the frequent kind of, basically she was frequent spitter. So probably everyone turned around for me. But anyway, everyone's turned around and we're all in our separate corners now, because the living room wasn't that big and there was a fair number of us, you know, so everyone tries to find the spot or so to do their thing. The corner by the window. Yeah, I remember that yesterday. And I was actually near the corner by the television, by the, what do we call that? Cabinet.
Cabinet?
You are there. By the cabinet. So literally, I'm just on my knees and I'm just worshipping, you know, deep in it. And then I feel like, you know, when you can feel like someone's by you, you know, you can just feel them near you. I could feel someone was by me, but that was a bit odd because everyone's in their corners when it's, you know, everyone's in their places, you know, so why someone out of their place and in my place, you know? So I was like, this is a bit odd. And then I heard a chuckle. It was a slight giggle. And that giggle was very significant. Partially because it was, I could tell by the voice and by the chuckle, it was our pastor. But it was also a chuckle that kind of indicated, wow, am I really about to say this? You know? So it had piqued my interest straight away because that chuckle just meant a lot. You know, I read into it. And then I still didn't turn around because I know who it is and it's cool. But then she leaned over to me, to this ear. Yeah, she leaned over to this ear. And then when she leaned over to this ear, she stayed there so I could kind of feel that her breath was there. Then she kind of moved and I could feel her move around me and go to the other ear. Then she went, then she chuckled again and she said, as we were praying, I just see a clear road. You know, and yeah, God's saying that you guys just got a clear road, you know. This is you and that Cass, there's something here. You lot have a road to travel. You lot should travel this road of the Lord's blessing. And I fainted.
Oh, no, 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 no.
Okay. He fainted. I just want you to know. He fainted.
Yeah, go on.
You fainted. You, Karl Loco, fainted.
Right, cool.
Yes.
Cool. Listen,
Sorry,
anyone that knows my history knows I am the opposite. Oh, whatever. Yeah, anyone that knows my history knows I am the opposite of squirmish. Or nothing really gets to me like that. But the glory, the goodness
of Cassandra,
of God, and
yeah, amen.
His love and
thank you, Jesus.
And love, you know, it's just, it was a bit much for me. And this is why, this is the punchline. She likes to think she knocked me out. The news of you know, being together knocked me out. No, that was not the punchline. The punchline was in the morning when I was doing my rap. This ear.
Yeah.
I weren't being literal. But you see, when you put things out there, this is why you have to be careful the
what
things you say. And, you know, I wasn't being literal. I didn't care whether it came through this ear or that ear, because as long as it comes through an ear, I've heard it, and all I wanted to do was hear it. I wanted to be aware. You know, I wanted it to be made known to me. But while I was doing that rant in the morning, I was saying the biggest skeptic is going to come and tell me in this ear. And then at that moment there, it all kind of came. The prayer point I prayed, the skepticism of our pastor initially at times, that she wasn't too sure because she kind of
and not felt, because she wasn't like, let me make you understand this. Remember, this is a youth ministry and we're one of the first to be in courting.
Yeah.
So it's like, you don't want to get, like, when it comes to marriage, you don't want to get that wrong. Like, I see some people and they rush into a relationship, rush into engagement to marriage because, you know, you all know you can have sex after marriage, but she didn't want to get that. You know, she didn't want to come and tell us something and that's not of God, and then we carry on in this, and then one day we're like, actually, and we blame her, like, you ruined our lives, you know what I mean? So she knows that no matter how much we're like, oh, we like each other, people can like each other, do you know what I mean?
You can fall out of like.
And you can fall out of like, and that is the main thing. Like, I came to understand and realize it's not about liking someone. You see, my mum and dad was married 13 whole years and knew each other longer. They were deeply in love when they got married. They had me in love, they divorced. And that just, like, obviously, I know in Christ there's ways of going about things and stuff like that, but it just shows me that it's not just about like, that can't last the test and last, you know, that long road that is marriage.
But literally, so as soon as she had then said that, that is why I failed. Because of the ear that she went to. If she didn't go to that ear, it would not have taken the wind out of me and caused me to collapse and be unconscious
guys, we know.
in the living room.
Comment below if you believe that that's true. You know, it could have been something to do with me. Comment below. I like when you guys comment. So anyway, prayer had finished now, rounded up. Remember, mind you, I hadn't seen him faint. I hadn't actually physically seen Pastor talk to him. And this is very mystical, and a lot of you people may not believe or whatever, but this is our truth, and that's fine. We're gonna just share you. You wanted to know the story, and we're gonna share with you our story and our truth. So anyway, I remember. So remember, I said the prayer meeting was downstairs. I remember running upstairs, and I remember seeing Karl as I've got up the top of the stairs, and he's just smiling. But I'm just like, he goes to say something. I'm like, no, wait, stop right there. See the prophetic. Woo, you better stop. So I was like, stop right there. Karl, you're gonna say to me that pastor has given us the clear road. She whispered it into your ear, and he's like, Cass.
Looking at her like, what the flip. But then actually, I was like, she must have seen. But the weird thing is that when I got up out of my unconscious state, I literally turned and looked and saw her in the same stance of prayer and worship, facing the window.
And the thing about it is as well, even if I had seen, like you know, we've got skeptics.
Yeah.
Even if I had seen our pastor go over to talk to him and say something in his ear, how would I have known? Amidst loud prayer, how would I have even known what she said? How would I, the biggest skeptic, how would I know that she's saying to Karl, yeah, the road is clear? And I told him the exact words, like, not exact, but exact-ish, exact of what she had said, and that it was in an ear. Like, I wouldn't have, You know what I mean? It was
too hot,
too,
man.
but God does that. He wanted me to know that the road of marriage is not easy. So you guys have gotta know. You guys gotta know what it is. Say, look,
I know, let's do that. You see, that's what I'm talking about. You get carried away. That's how I'm
we've got a handshake,
Yeah, I don't do it with that no more.
No, I'm gonna do it right. I'm gonna do it right.
No.
I'm not gonna.
We were at the cinema yesterday. She told me, she gave me her word. I promise you, because she does it. It's supposed to be an explosion, and she goes all the way up.
Yeah,
and I'm like,
it's
it's not meant to go all the way up. It's just meant to go like, shh, you know. And then she was like, I give you my word, as God is my witness, I am not gonna go up. And then she just went psh, down. So I'm not getting tricked again. It's all long.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah.
I'll
like,
touch you guys.
yeah.
No.
Yeah, I did it. So
Yeah.
the road of marriage is not like just smooth sailing.
Come on.
Yeah. So to know that God is in it is probably the best thing.
Honestly.
And it's a blessing. And yeah, so that is how we fasted and we got our confirmation.
You know?
Baby.
Boom. That's how we got locked in the first place.
Comment, like, share, and also tell us what other videos you want to come from us. Like, you've been asking for this video for a long time, but we're back now.
Come on,
yeah,
man.
We're back every
week.
week.
Crack.
Every week we're back. But yeah, you're not just gonna see videos from us. It's gonna be videos from me. I know some of you have seen the Insecure video, videos from Karl talking about his kind of stuff, entrepreneur stuff. How to
just making it happen, for the hungry.
For the hungry.
To get fed.
And for the women, how to be a better you, how to look into your full potential, how to love yourself, and all of that.
Yeah, so we got an awesome giveaway coming up, and it is a golden ticket.
What you need to do, the competition details will be below, okay? So everything that you need to do will be below. Yeah. So it is to Tony Robbins, Unleash the Power Within. And
dun, dun, dun.
Please YouTube this man. Yeah, he's amazing. Look, I can't.
What did you call him?
He's Father Christmas.
Yeah,
he's Father Christmas to me.
There we go.
He's that guy.
He's Father Christmas.
He's that guy. So if you guys like literally YouTube him, Google him, he's been on Oprah, he's been on like he's amazing. Yeah. And he is why I quit my job. Yeah. He is why. Not he is why, but he's the one that cultivated that. He provoked that within me. So why I quit my job, why I'm going full throttle with all that I am, why I'm stepping outside of my box, why I'm...
The locked in event?
The locked into your full potential event.
Get that, man. And if you weren't there,
you missed out. You missed out. You missed out. I'm joking. Yeah, but if you wasn't there, you didn't miss out, because there's going to be many of them throughout the year, and so many great things, and so many great people were part there. It's just amazing. Just get locked in.
Before we close, yeah, I do want to say that was our confirmation story. That was ours. You can't have our one. You're not meant to want to have our confirmation story. We can take threads from it. You can draw inspiration from it.
Yeah, but that is
everyone's thing is different. Everyone's different. So don't feel as if because it wasn't so maybe your one wasn't so mysterious.
God knows how to talk to
the mystic came only in the mysterious, you know? Yeah. It doesn't mean it's more validation because it was more supernatural or more you know, out of this world. That's not necessary. It could have just been, I knew that this person's for me, and you didn't need all of that confirmation, but we did. And God came through.
We definitely did.
It's the blessing, you know?
But thank you guys so much, as usual, for everything, for the messages, for following us on Instagram, Twitter, like just for being locked in. You guys are amazing. The fact that we haven't been consistent with videos, but you guys are still there locked in.
Come on, man.
We love you.
MVPs,
we love
man.
you.
No, that's not, listen, I don't understand what she's doing. This is what I do, yeah? It's that. We all know that that's me.
Nah, I'm doing it.
Yeah. I'm gonna close.
Bye, guys.
Yeah?